Hey folks, Southern Polock here with a little episode of This Old House. Here I'm standing in the basement of a 1940s home in Arkansas. Actually has a basement, more like a cellar. It's an old basement here. And what brings me down here today is I'm going to put a new faucet on a old sink in the back room. And that back room happens to be on top of a crawl space that's on the other side of this basement window. You can see these copper lines, your hot and your cold going through. You can see they're getting kind of old and deteriorated. So I expect here in the next year or so or more, I mean pretty soon, I'm gonna have to do some replumbing for sure, no doubt. And nothing's insulated out there at all, so with some of the cold winters we've been having over the last couple of years we've been here, these lines have freezing up that back room. And luckily the only thing that got broke was the drain line for the sink, which you can kind of see it right there through that dirty window. So I had added these shutoffs, right or wrong, with some bleeders on them. That way I can shut off the water to that side and drain off the water out of these lines to help keep them from busting. Because down here in this basement, it stays warm enough that nothing freezes. So I done already shut these off right here, and I'm gonna bleed them off. That way I can get the water off these lines here, and I can replace and put a new faucet on this old school sink I'll show you here in a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and open these bleeders real quick, and we'll move on to the next. So I got the bleeders off, and you notice there ain't no water coming out of them. That's because they're locked, because I didn't open up no faucets on the other side. We'll do that here in a minute. And they'll drain that water off that's in these lines, and we'll be good. And the thing with it is I was gonna actually solder and redo and put actual non-sharkbite in here, but with these lines being so old and deteriorating, I know I'm gonna have to replace them. So there's no sense of going crazy and doing a whole bunch of work until I'm ready to do that. So I went and just threw these sharkbite shutoffs in there for now. You can see it's starting to drip, but once I open up a faucet, it'll start to flow. The old school basement. And one cool thing about this basement, I guess, that I learned from this house being registered historical, is there's a lot of different documentation on the house. And I noticed on this wall over here, you can see the outline of an opening. Well, come to find out, the original owner of the house knocked a hole in this wall and started digging a tunnel to the storm shelter outside. I don't know how far he got. I know that he ended up becoming ill and wasn't able to finish it, or I don't know. I don't even know how far he got with it. But I was wondering why it was like that, and I was going through some documents, and that's what I read. So that's why there's a defined patch there, because he knocked it out and started digging him a tunnel. Okay, let's head upstairs and I'll show you the project. So we got this old school faucet here that doesn't have an aerator on it or nothing, and it kind of sprays everywhere. Still works, but we want to throw a different one on there. So we're gonna go ahead and open up these lines. You hear it gurgling? That's that water going back and draining out those drains on that shutoffs. I'm also going to flush this toilet. Get the water out of that thing. And then we're going to go ahead and I like to take these old shutoffs that are down here off. And then under this stupid sink here, you got to do things to hide things nowadays. But I'm gonna remove these old pipes here and remove those shutoffs. We're going to take those shutoffs off, go down below, and put on a coupling on each line and run up some PEX with our new connection lines and hopefully get a new faucet on here. So you can see here I disconnected those chrome lines. I for sure thought those nuts right there were going to give me one hell of a time, but I actually got them broke loose. I got one off so far. I'm working on the other one right now. But I'm surprised it broke loose so easily, especially being how old this probably is. It's not probably original. It's not original to the house, but it's pretty old. So I'm surprised. A good tool to use for that type of stuff in those spots is one of these extendable wrenches that goes up, and you can see you can turn it at an angle and you can go up and grab onto those nuts and you can turn them, break them free. Good useful tool to have. I use it a lot in my trade of work. So, and you can see I disconnected the water lines here, these old chrome lines from the shutoffs, and got them nuts off. So I'm going to finish getting this faucet off of here. So I got the old faucet off here. You can tell it's an old school. It's all metal though, but it's an old school faucet for sure. Went ahead and disconnected all the water lines like I said before. I disconnected the water line to the toilet. That way we can pop these shutoffs off, and we're going to replace these shutoffs while we're at it. So unfortunately with those compression shutoffs, I wasn't able to just pop them off the top of the copper pipe. So I'm gonna have to take this excess cover off here on the crawl space, crawl underneath, cut them copper pipes, put some couplings on there to put my PEX onto and pop it up that way. So we're gonna go ahead and take this excess cover off, and I'll give you a sneak peek underneath. So here I got the excess cover off. Take a peek inside here. You can see there's the drop from the toilet going down into the ground. There's a vent pipe they makeshifted out to the back of the house. There's the drain line over there for the sink that needs to be repaired, and the water lines I need to get to. Get a good view here. Is up there. There's the ones going to the sink and the one going to the toilet. So I'm going to cut those, put couplings on them so I can hook PEX to them, and run the new lines up to the floor. But first I gotta jibby my big booty around this pipe if possible. So I'm gonna get this done. Well folks, that was a fun event right there. I had crawled over that pipe between there and there, and made it down here with my little handy dandy tool bucket with my some fittings. I cut me some copper pipes. You see I had reconnected some sharkbite fittings because I wasn't about to do no soldering and all that crazy stuff up in here. Not today. So I got those set on there. My hot and water supply. And I got the one for the toilet. Now it's time to get some PEX down to them. So I got to crawl on this puppy again, and it should be fun. Well, job complete. Got a new faucet on here right now. Got the old one out of here. Got the new lines going up to up there to the top. There they are. The new lines. Some new shutoffs. I'll get some new floor plates here. Forgot to pick those up. Got a new supply line, new shutoff, new supply line up to the toilet. So, job complete. Can't beat that. Brand new faucet, some new water lines coming up. That does the trick in this old house. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.